Hi, everyone. Welcome. The Four Sober Chicks. As always, I am with Heather and Dana. And today it is just us three. I think we are going to start to label these as chick chats because I think it's really important that we kind of come back together as a party of three and kind of whether it's update you kind of on where we are, seasons, the whole nine. I think that it's really important, and I do feel like we have some big things in the works. But I also do feel like, and this is what we'll talk about, we also have a lot of other stuff going on, which is gonna kind of lend to us taking a kind of constructive break, if you will. When it comes to recording new episodes and launching, we will definitely be reviewing like older episodes that we have done in the past. Um, but I do feel like pausing and reflecting and getting quiet and calm, in my opinion, is essential to being in recovery. Um, the world can be so noisy and so chaotic, and at the end of the day feel like you're not doing enough, or we need to be doing more, we need to be doing this. But at the end of the day, I think pausing and reflecting on, honestly, us as a podcast, if you will, like what we've been able to accomplish in a very short amount of time is huge. I mean, we've had over, I don't even know how many guests at this point. I mean, we've got to be in the 60s, 70s. I mean, that's a lot of people
Mhm.
that we've interviewed. It's a lot of time that we've put into things, but it's all for the good. And we understand that, but we're only good as we kind of treat ourselves. So if we're not treating ourselves to those breaks and those moments to kind of really reflect, and honestly, like Heather has stuff going on where she is that she needs to focus on. Um, Dana, same thing. She has really huge stuff that she needs to focus on. So I think we've come to a point that we're going to do this. But the funny thing is we did that before. Like we took a break and we did season two in review, and it was great. We were able to be energized and come back because that's our whole goal. Is we really want to make sure that we're serving to the best of our ability, and not that we're not now, or we feel that we're not. It's just we need to really focus on that pause and that recovery. So with that, Heather, I would love for you to tell everyone what you're up to, and what you're going to be jumping into big time.
Just a small few things. Yeah, thank you, Mayor, for that. And you know, we care so much about this podcast and this community and the work that's being done. And I love the opportunity for us to kind of pause as well to figure out how we can work, you know, more precisely and scale up to some degree, you know. So we've got some really exciting stuff coming. Personally, I don't remember if we mentioned this I in another episode or not, but I no longer live in the Middle East. Um, so that's kind of a huge update and one that was completely unplanned. And so I guess the long and short of it is that I have two amazing kids, 18 and 16, and my our 16-year-old had a medical and mental health emergency. And so we returned to the US, the kids and I, in December, to kind of have access to the resources that we wanted to have access to, the medical resources here. And that's been incredible. It was 100% the right decision. It was a really hard um, thing for our family at the time, because that wasn't planned. Um, and my husband's still living in the United Arab Emirates for now. So we're still working it out, but our kiddos are doing really, really well. And then for me personally, living overseas for 11 years, I I started with a group of women, a nonprofit organization in China for women who have breast cancer. Next month is the 10-year anniversary of that charity being formed, which is kind of cool. And I did that for 4.5 years. And then in the UAE, I couldn't work as an art therapist. My profession was not acknowledged. It was not licensed. It was used all the time, and not regulated. And I had to, in order to work and have a business in the United Arab Emirates, I needed to become a certified coach. And so that is what led me to She Recovers and to you guys and all of that. So that's all been amazing, but it was an additional step. I already have a master's degree, I already have a license. And so while I did it and I love the skills that I learned in the community and all of that, it was hard to constantly have to fight to be recognized, um, for my profession, for my ability, for my experience, all of the things. And so coming back to the US has been a complete opposite because I have all of this experience, and my field is recognized here. And I have been able to do some pretty incredible things. And so I started my own business here, which is Art for Life. It's similar to the business I had in the UAE. So I established that here. And one of the huge things that I wanted to accomplish, we've talked about She Recovers, and She Recovers is a huge part of my recovery. And I wanted to start an in-person meeting. And in the United Arab Emirates, it just wasn't feasible. And so for 2 years, I've really wanted to do this. And a bunch of things happened, and I'll tell that story in another chick chat. Um, that led to us being able to start a meeting. And we had our first in-person meeting in the beginning of September. And we have one every week, and it's growing. And it's such a personal accomplishment for me. And now I have this opportunity to start other sharing circles in other organizations. And that is part of my recovery, that spreading the seeds of what I believe is equitable, amazing, solid, peer-based, professionally facilitated recovery community. And I think everyone needs multiple things in their recovery toolkit. So to be able to provide that, that's my recovery. That's how I give it back. That's how I pay it forward. And that's been so beautiful. And the reception in this community has been incredible, incredible. And so I'm just trying to keep my, feet on the ground as I figure out how to work smarter. I love a multi-tool. What one thing can I do that touches all the things? And I love what Meredith said. I've spent the last couple of months back in a state that I left. I left Pennsylvania for graduate school. This is where all my trauma occurred, in this state. Well, okay, no, that's actually really not true. Okay, my traumas occurred all over the world. The the trauma related to my mom, to my family, that's Pennsylvania, and having all my stuff be returned to me after 11 years, the stuff that I have storage, and just being in the same seasons, which sounds very strange, but it's so in my blood that it's now turning into fall, and I love it. All these things are so healing that I didn't know that I needed. I did not realize that living overseas um, had started to take more from me than it had been returned or been giving back, especially for my family. And just getting to a place where I'm balancing all of this major stuff, my kids' health, managing two households in two different countries, trying to start businesses and all of that. And I think I'm kicking ass at it, because this is where I'm supposed to be. All the helpers have appeared. Like it's so weird. Dana and I live 40 minutes from each other. We've got to get Meredith closer, but we'll take flying. But Dana and I live 40 minutes from each other, and like the other coach that made the face-to-face meeting lives 40 minutes away on the other side. Like all of these interesting connections that have kind of like just appeared. I know this is exactly where I'm supposed to be doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and stepping into that purpose has been incredible. So that's me. How you doing, Dana?
Oh, I'm good. The the work you're doing, Heather, is incredible, and we've seen it in action, and we've also seen every which direction it's been taking you. So it's been interesting to see you grow and really settle and get excited about things again. So I'm really happy about that, and also that you're 40 minutes away. Um, you know,
So
not that
convenient.
we see each other every week, but we are 40 minutes
But
away.
we could. But we could.
We could. And that, Meredith is only a flight away. Either way, whether we go out to see her or she comes out here, much easier than being in the UAE. For sure.
Hands down. Just being in this
I'll take
almost
you
in
to the
like just
lake.
two time zones.
I'll take you to the lake and you guys can go surfing.
Oh, there you
Uh,
go.
I'll go to the lake, but there's no way that I will stay vertical. And this 49-year-old does not need to be flung across water. No, I'll go on the
I
boat.
thought the same thing. I thought the same thing, my friend.
Yeah, yeah. I need to do the swirly thing that your husband does on the board. I'm like, that takes talent. um, yeah, for me, it's just always a whirlwind, right? I mean, um, doing my day job with Oracle and seeing how that is transitioning and growing. I have not been too happy with my position over the past year, and I think a lot of that is upskill and learning, but also not really knowing where things are going to land. Um, and oddly, I was given a beautiful opportunity that was almost a voluntold kind of thing, but ended up being voluntold and a choice that came to me where I am moving into a new role at Oracle at the beginning of October that will really speak heavily to my skill sets professionally. I'm inheriting three fantastic rock star people for my team. And I'm going to be working for a woman who has just been a wonderful person that has been a part of my work career for the past 10 or so years. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge and the growth opportunity that it brings, and also getting to learn all of the new stuff that I get my hands on. I am a nerd at heart and I love data. So this is an analytics kind of position. So I get to dig in and have some fun. So very much looking forward to that. Um, Over the past 3.5 years, Reclaim Your Moxie and Oracle Alliance for Recovery has grown. Um, we are now approaching 450 members within the two groups. And I just had somebody today come to me asking for resources and help um, for mental health challenges that they're having in their family. So I was able to provide that to them. And that is huge for me to be able to just automatically know where to go, give them the things that they need. And that's been happening more frequently. People know that they have a trusted person within Oracle that is not their manager or somebody that they feel uncomfortable talking to, which I hope to fix that in the future. But that they have somebody that they can come to. So that means a lot to me. Um, and so that whole thing brought me to meeting a few people in the recovery space that has put together a certification program for recovery friendly workplace in the United States. I'm sure it will go global once we start really fanning out. But I ended up somehow becoming a co-chair of the corporate council for this Recovery Friendly Workplace Initiative and Institute, which then brought me to being invited to the White House last Wednesday with 12 other companies, which was the most fantastic, amazing experience I've ever had. And I hope it is not a once in a lifetime experience. I hope there are many more like it. I got to meet some very incredible people doing incredible things that like just was mind blowing to me. Dr. Gupta, who is the director of the National Drug Control Policy Board, he kicked off the meeting. We had the Assistant Secretary of Health and Benefits for the Department of Labor. She was there. And then the Deputy Secretary of Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Association, SAMHSA, as many of you know it, was there as well. And all of these people were sitting like 2 chairs from me. So it was just a neat experience. And to hear some of these companies are doing, there is one company that has a vending machine of Narcan. So it is incredible what these people are doing for their folks in recovery. There's another company out there that goes to sober living homes, treatment centers, even prisons to talk to people to see where they are in their recovery. If they need a job, they interview them, they try and get them jobs, because you need a job to have a home and to have bills and to have that life. And that job is so important. And that's where all of the stigma and the shame starts. People are not giving the folks coming out of these places a second chance. And these people are giving them a second chance. And they're realizing that these are the most loyal and the most productive people out there, because they're the most thankful that they have been given a second chance. And so that is what this is all about. There is a bigger picture here that I'm a part of that is so overwhelming and so beautiful, that I can be of service and help people. So I look forward to finalizing Oracle certification this week, and also helping other companies if they have questions, if they want to get certified, if they have just to start a program. And I don't want to go into too much and take up too much time. Sorry. But I did speak a couple of weeks before that at a Health Benefits Nation conference in Nashville. And that I was coming into that as an employee, like the person on the other side, explaining the certification process to all of these benefits people, the brokers, the providers, and all these folks that didn't really understand the other side of the fence of what people need, of what their employees need, of what their customers need. And even if they're not interested in certification, they at least now have a place to start. They have a checklist of things that they can say, oh, that's easy, I can do that. Or, oh my gosh, I already have that in place. Look at me. So the engagement with that, it was a 3-hour workshop that we put on. And it was an amazing experience, and amazing that people were so engaged that we actually had to pull them out of the workshop, like out of the activity, to continue the workshop. So I'm hoping that that's what we'll keep seeing in the future. So that's what I've been doing.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
Can I just say one thing? You said, and somehow I ended up as a chair, and I would just like to blow that out of the water, because we have watched you work so hard to put this in place. You created this program in Oracle from your own experience, and you came and recovered out loud in the workplace, which is terrifying. All of this you built from one of the most terrifying, vulnerable places that a lot of people feel, going to work and having to address your recovery or your need for recovery. You took this and created this platform that has put you at that table with those people. And I am so incredibly honored to be your friend and to see this and what you're doing, honestly, because we're all doing incredible things. And even though Meredith right now is doing different stuff, your stuff's all about the body, it's mind, body, and spirit. We have to take care of all these aspects. Work is where most people's addiction, work, social, and mental health is where we say if it's impairing two areas of your life, it's diagnosable, right? So the fact that we kind of work in these different spheres is really nice. And Mare, what do you want to share about what's going on with you and your next evolution?
So what's funny is it's weird. I swear within, I don't know, maybe like a 3 month or a 3 week span, shit hit the fan with me, shit hit the fan with Heather, shit hit the fan with Dave. Like we were juggling these very big like life changes.
Yeah.
Um, and it was mind blowing. Because I was like, here's bomb number one. And Heather was like, here's bomb number two. And she was like, well, I'm going to add bomb number three. Like it was like literally back to back to back. So I've been in real estate for 17 years. I will always be in real estate. I love it. I had another company that decided to completely restructure, which meant that my income went from awesome to like nothing overnight. So what's funny is, I look, hindsight's always 2020. Like I look back at COVID, I'm like, thank God I was sober. I look back at all these other big life changes where I was like, thank God I was sober. And this was another one where like going through it, I was like, wow, okay, I'm really glad I'm sober. And we always talk about, yeah, some days are easy, some days are hard. There were some days that were hard for me. It was the proverbial, I would love to kick back with a glass of wine and forget my problems for the next 12 hours. But I did not, thank God. And it's funny, there are people who know my recovery story who literally were like, this is big. How are we doing on the sober front? I was like, we're doing good. I'm still not drinking. So it was crazy. It was nuts. But going back to the theme of getting calm, getting quiet, for me, it got so noisy that I had to unplug. I had to get off social media. I was literally only talking to my friends, my kids, my husband. I was just not putting myself out there like I normally do because you cannot make clear and concise decisions in a state of fear and chaos. If there's anything that my faith and just overall life has taught me, I've made the worst decisions in chaos. I've made the worst decisions in fear. And so I refuse to do that. And I tried to get really quiet to see what my next path was, really where God wanted me, what he wanted me doing. And a brand new startup in a field that I am so passionate about literally fell into my lap. And so I believe that God has a way of closing doors and opening them. And like you said, Heather, puts the right people in your path, puts the people that you need to surround you. Dana, putting, the leadership that you need around you. Like that's not a coincidence. It is divine intervention. And I do believe that leaning into that is crucial. Although going through that open door, that's not easy either. So yeah, I'm starting with a brand new company. It's exciting. It's fun. It is about just total body wellness on a level that's never been done before. So nothing like this is on the market. So I'm just excited to dive back into that and just have that excitement and that newness. I mean, Heather, you feel the same way. Like when you are in love with what you do, you wake up and you're excited to be up. You want the day to start. You want to get at it. And so that's really the point where I'm at, while also noting seasons are changing. For my energy levels, this break is coming at a phenomenal time. Um, and I feel like recharging my mind, my body, my brain, like the whole nine, that's never a bad thing. Um, and so, I mean, I've tried to instill that into my kids too. I'm like, you are go, go, go all the time. There is something to be said about resting and giving your body a chance to catch up and stay healthy and all the things. So that's kind of my world in a nutshell. But I probably talk to, I'm not even kidding you, 2 to 3 people every few weeks are reaching out to me saying, I think I have a problem with alcohol. I think I need to do X, Y, and Z. How did you start? What did you do? Like I'm constantly getting people in my inbox, which I absolutely love. And it's interesting. There are people who are recognizing they have the problem, but they're not to the point yet where they're willing to make the drastic changes that need to be made, which that's a process. I mean, you've got to get to that point where that is your only option. Sometimes, I'm not saying all the time. We don't want it all the time. Um, and I say that, I'm like, man, like going through another 2 years of this, your body's going to be worse. Your brain's going to be worse. Your health is going to be in the toilet versus really doing the hard work right now, even though you don't want to. None of us wanted to do the hard work. Um, I feel like, though, at the end of the day, you know that it will 100% be worth it if you stick to it. So that is my life in a nutshell.
I love that. And I have said like 5 times, a day, like, thank God I'm sober as I'm going through these things. But there were moments where I haven't been
It's
tested like
real.
this in a long time.
It is real. Like people are always
Mhm.
like, "Oh my God, like you're good. You have like 10 years." I'm like, that does not mean that it is easy every day. Like
No.
when you are surrounded by people who cope with alcohol, that's an easy freaking fix, man. So yeah, although we are doing good in our recovery, there are moments where we do struggle and it is fucking hard.
So
Uh,
I'll share my birthday. That was a moment. So my birthday, I live in a new town. I was getting all of these amazing, I overscheduled my day because for me, loneliness is my biggest trigger, which feeds into the you're not worthy for someone to spend time with you, but it's all about loneliness. Um, and so I overscheduled my day. So I'm around all these people and no one knows it's my birthday. No one, and I'm getting these messages, but the people in front of me have no idea. And I felt so unseen and I felt so alone and I felt so isolated. And I went home to go have dinner with my kids, and my kids are both neurodivergent and we're both having really bad days. So I refer to them as despondent and disgruntled and despondent. And so those were my dinner dates. And I was when I went to go pick up the kids, I was sitting in my bathroom and I was like, well, I can just cancel and I'll just go to the bar that's at the corner. And I'll just eat there. And it wasn't like I'll drink. It was like I'm going to go to a bar because I'm lonely and I'm feeling unseen. And I was like, that's fucking stupid. Go have dinner with disgruntled and despondent. It is what it is. We did. It was nice. And my head hit the pillow, alcohol free. And no, but it was scary. And so I was like, okay, so what do I need to do? Well, one, I need to not be anonymous in my community and I need to say, they know I'm in recovery, but this was my birthday, like, and to let people know. Um, and then it's like, okay, I turn 50 next year and I'm going to have an incredible birthday. Like I'm going to have a bounce castle. Like I'm just going to do it. and I'm going to plan it because I wanted one when I was going to be 30 for my 30th, but I was pregnant with Jacob, and I really wanted one for 40, but I was in China, and yeah, no, it just didn't happen. So yeah, so 50
They
is
have
going to
bouncy
be,
houses in China.
I feel like yes, but I lived in the city, so like not so much
Where would you
there, but
go
we also
fun?
lived in the country and we definitely did not have them in rural China. No, there were not bouncy houses in rural China. Um, so that's how I've decided to, so I took something, and that's recovery, right? I know what my triggers are. I had thoughts. Thoughts are just thoughts unless we put action behind them. And the action I could put behind it is to engage in that behavior, or I could engage in one of my tools. And I engaged in my tools. And then I told on myself. And I went and did my meetings and I went and got support. And you know, all the things. And that is what I'm like, thank God for that. Thank
Yeah.
God for those tools.
So we're talking about tools. Um, I have moments of anxiety, and not to the point where I feel like I need like medication. But a dear friend of mine, also sober, um, got me started on. So I get it at like a natural grocer's, and it's just a vial of stuff in like the herbal section. But it is called Kava, Kava. And she just shoots it out of the dropper. It tastes like crap. It like numbs your mouth, so I have to dilute it in water. Has been amazing for me. And then there's another one called Valerian, which is phenomenal to go to sleep. But it is all centered around your nervous system, and their roots, like
Yep.
from the.
Valerian root and the kava kava root.
So they have been amazing. I've anyone that I know that deals with anxiety. I mean, I've got friends who deal with anxiety and they go to alcohol or pot. And I'm like, hey, you should try this. And one of them did it. She was like, holy crap. I was like, I know. It's amazing. It just like completely resets my nervous system, which feels amazing. So that's a new tool that I've been using.
I love that.
Right.
I mean, this is the thing about recovery. Like, we all have to look at different types of recovery and different types of, you know, we're for sober chicks, but the word sober is really just a great way for people to find us, a definition, you know, like for alcohol free. But we all have multi-layered, you know, recovery plans, and we support all types of recovery and, you know, these types of roots and medicine, you know, medicinally based, the THC and the CBD assisted. There are all kinds of medically assisted, you know, medications for alcohol, like antabuse and all of those things. We have to stop judging someone's sobriety or recovery based on what they're using and what they're adding in, because it's not up to that person, anyone else. It's up to you. And what I've found in my own recovery, one, I'm alcohol free. I can't go there. That's 100% my thing. But I found that because of the trauma and the ADHD, and the effects of substance use, my nervous system does not regulate in the way that it's supposed to. And I have done a lot of work to, you know, so like without antidepressants, without any kind of supports. And it was so much work. It took all my energy. So yeah, I could live like that, but that wasn't life. That wasn't happiness. That wasn't, and it was a very long process for me to accept the fact that my neurodivergence was different and to be okay with allowing myself to listen to my own intuition and allow myself to recover in the way that I need to recover. So I love all of these different options that are coming up that people can try that really address the nervous system. Because aside from living in an ashram and practicing 24 hours a day, I can't Like I couldn't find the magic solution. So thank you very much for sharing that. And that I think too speaks to when we come back from, our building recovery capital construction time, to really start to highlight all these different types of recovery, to really look at how other people are doing it, and continue to have our conversations and do the things we're doing.
Mhm.
There is something else out there. Sorry, that's I'm like sorting through all my paperwork from the conference that I was at. One of the presenters got a I forget what the first word is. Stalent. It's a ganglion block, and it's basically they put anesthesia in your vein here, and it takes about 4 to 6 hours, but it resets your whole system. And depending on what side, it'll affect what's going on. But like for her, it was all of her IBS and Crohn's and everything else that got resituated the first time. The second time she got it done on the other side, and that fixed a lot of her long COVID issues. So that might be something for people to also look into. And it's not like you have to go and get shots weekly or anything like that, but it's something that literally just resets your whole system. Um, I know Meredith's looking it up. I can see her looking it up right now. So it's a ST something ganglion block. Um,
Stellate ganglion block.
what
Is
is
it
it?
injection? Stellate
That's it. Thank you.
is an injection of an anesthetic into the stellate ganglion, a collection of nerves in the neck. Wow, I've never even heard that.
All right, well,
Yep.
let's look a little bit more into that. That would be really interesting to read about because um, this nervous system reset, it's what I do in my work as an art therapist and incorporating the expressive arts therapy tools that I've had for my certifications. It's all about engaging, the hemispheres of the brain and helping, but it's helping our clients have tools to regulate their own nervous system independent of me.
Mhm.
So I love
So
this.
overall, it's saying that it eases pain, um, but I mean, our nervous system is what
Yeah.
creates pain. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. All
great.
right. And yeah. So we'll
I love
see.
these catch ups. And
I know, I know. We're definitely going to have to do Chick Chat more often. This is awesome.
I'm going to need to learn how to say it. It's like rear wheel drive. I can't say that either. So it'll be something that I'll need to work on. But I love
That's
it.
all right. I can't say, recently, I cannot say cancel culture. I say cancer culture every time. And then I have to correct myself, which it's not inaccurate. It's
Yeah,
just that I can't get it out. So,
it's funny.
all right. Well, I do want to say that, like, in summary or kind of in conclusion of all the stuff that we've been through, I really appreciate both of you as my sisters in this. And collectively, we support one another. And that's incredible to be able to do that and have open, vulnerable conversations. So I appreciate that from you guys. And I think that's what makes this so cool, that what we've been doing for now years.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you guys can find us anywhere that you get your podcasts. If you go to our Instagram page, on our link tree is actually all of the sites where we are connected. And YouTube. That's a really big one. So we appreciate any follows, likes, subscribes, all the above. And we will see you guys on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.